All right, we are live.
It's exciting.
All right, welcome to Apollo Challenge Live, episode number 1, where we are going to talk about performing at your absolute best and empowering you to reach your human potential. I am Will Coffin, co-founder of Apollo Challenge. This is Kyle Bracey, co-founder of Apollo Challenge, and Brett Bates, our chief evangelist.
Well, I basically just support you guys.
Well, you're awesome. You're awesome. So let's get going.
Yeah, so, well, tell us a little bit about yourself, a little bit more about your background, and what brings us here tonight.
Once again, my name's Will Coffin. I'm with Kyle, co-founder, co-authors of the Apollo Challenge here. My background is in tech and engineering. I came from a tech startup before this, and Kyle and I have been working on some fitness products for a while, but mostly specialty stuff, and we wanted to create a kind of a general population product. So I left the tech startup and moved on to this full time about a year ago, and we've been developing this product and the supporting educational materials. Yeah, I mean, I'm a Chicago boy. Played basketball growing up. Background is industrial engineering. Went to school down in Miami. Lived in Miami and LA for a while, then moved my way back to Chicago. And Kyle and I have kind of been bouncing all over the U.S. together, but we're here, and Apollo Challenge is live.
Nice. Well, I know you a little bit, Kyle, but tell us a little bit more about
first
your
of all,
background.
quick applause to Will. For those watching, Will had to do a bunch behind the scenes to get this live. We're having some technical difficulties. So
Murphy's Law.
Yes.
Murphy's Law. What?
So his tech background did show up. So yeah, no, I'm a sports performance coach, a coach in general. So I've been doing this as long as I can remember, either as an athlete or as a coach, and whether it been sport, strength conditioning, or what have you. I'm happiest when I'm coaching. This is just a nice. This is a nice tribute to my experience, and I'm really excited to take it to the masses. And so really just more excited to dive deep into the details to allow this to help our consumer.
All right.
Yeah, I should probably clarify that I'm a geek, engineer, but I'm a geek and a biohacker through and through. I think I've tried everything on the internet to try and increase performance. That's legal, of course.
Right.
And everything from cold showers to caffeine and you name it. But being a n equals 1 isn't always you learn something and you want to bring it to the masses. So anyway, I just want to clarify that I'm a geek. I'm a biohacker. I love all this stuff. So yeah.
Well, and I guess a little bit about me. I'm from Chicago as well. So grew up in a little suburb outside of the city, pardon me. I guess I'm a little nervous. But no, I'm a marketing professional here in downtown Chicago. Sports enthusiast. Played a lot of sports throughout high school. Actually played college football. Not all 4 years, but and then rugby after that.
You always quip that in there.
Well, I mean,
it's a pain point for you.
Hey, someone. I would have loved to have continued playing, but I was more focused on my degree, I suppose. But more importantly, I was a alpha beta tester of the Apollo Challenge, and
an exceptional one at that.
Well, hey, it was a great program, and it worked for me, so it was easy.
Yeah.
Hey, and when you see results, it's easy to continue.
Yeah. That's the key. That's the big thing I like to get across is that we designed it specifically for results, and that's why it's deadline at 28 days. I think anytime you bring somebody into a program, they want to know when it's over with, and they want to know what they're going to get out of it. And so those are kind of the guarantees we put forth.
Yeah. So
I got to hold this
ahead.
up for 1 second,
Yeah.
and for a technical thing, I'll be right back.
Well, I guess this gives us a chance to connect, just you and I, Kyle. We're still live, right?
We are.
So obviously both of you can take your chance at this and answer this question, but high level, what would you say the Apollo Challenge is?
Yeah, I would say it's a simplified version of the basics that I found to be the essentials. So for me as a coach, when I get asked questions, I tend to ask a lot more questions just to get more information. And so from stepping back, most of the time, the basics aren't being honored. And so essentially that's what we've created here with the Apollo Challenge, a real simplified version. It's not so robust that it's overcoming. You know, I think at a point of entry, anytime you're going to begin a training program, nutrition program, you don't want to die of information overload, you know, from the start. Right. And so when we created this, it was to systematically give someone 3 workouts per week and a very detailed nutrition regimen to follow, and for very specific results. And each of those intentions were scientifically backed, and then more importantly, what I'd seen over time to be most effective.
Anything to add to that? Well,
yeah, I mean, the Apollo Challenge for me is the answer to the question, what would it look like to perform at if performing at your best every day was easy? And so not that implementing the system's easy or transitioning to the lifestyle is easy necessarily, but once you get there, once you've adopted some of these habits and some of these ways of living and into your lifestyle, it does become easy and kind of, you know, very simple for you to perform at 100% from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to bed. I mean, it's been amazing for me going through this, and this is how I live my life, is, you know, the program every day.
Sure.
And just, you know, the lulls in the afternoon I used to feel as far as, you know, getting sleepy after lunch, or the struggle in the morning to get going and needing copious amounts of coffee. That's not a thing anymore. You know, I get up, I'm alert. You know, I still have my smart coffee and my BCAAs first thing to get the day started with a little caffeine and some fat to continue my fast. And then I don't eat, and so I guess we'll go over kind of the steps of the program while I'm jumping in this. So let's talk about what the Apollo Challenge program is. So I'll break it down. It's a system, right? So it's a combination of tools that produce a specific result. And so the result is peak mental performance, peak physical performance, and ideal body composition. So that's what the result is of going through this program. You're going to wake up in the morning. You're going to have your smart coffee and your BCAAs. So smart coffee is coffee with MCT and grass-fed butter blended in. So that's 100% fat. So you're continuing your intermittent fasting period, and you're going to have a lunch sometime around noon, maybe later if you can last. That's going to be a big Apollo Power Salad. So that's going to be lots of greens, lots of good proteins, lots of healthy fats, olive oil, avocado. And then in the afternoon, if you had a workout that day and you need it a little extra, we'll do an XPG shake, which is extra protein and greens. Literally XPG, extra protein and greens. So that's protein and greens powder.
I just picked up on that.
and that'll,
you know, 'cause you're quick.
Genius.
That'll be some more energy to get you through the afternoon, and then end off your day food-wise with some organic meat and vegetables. You know, cook it in some delicious fats, season it to taste. So the food's very, very attainable. And then on top of that, as Kyle mentioned, you're going to be working out 3 days a week. So 3 very simple workouts. Simple in the sense that you can get into the gym, you can perform them on your own with a little bit of instruction. We've got videos of all the exercises so people can go and make sure they understand the movements correctly. Kyle's done broken everything down step by step to make sure that you're not going to put yourself in a dangerous situation. And they can all be done in under an hour. I mean, that's for me. I think my day 3 each week, I'm usually out in about 35 minutes, you know. So it's very attainable, at least, and it's kind of the minimum effective dose of the right nutrition and the right exercise to reach peak performance. So
just to play that back to you, so I'm hearing obviously I've done the program, but I'm hearing fasting in the morning with your bulletproof coffee. Pardon me, smart coffee.
That's all right.
MCT oil and grass-fed butter, and then we're leaning towards a low-carb afternoon. So healthy fats, healthy lean meats, salads, the Apollo salad, obviously, and you can touch on that. But so it's generally speaking, we're really just trying to get rid of some of the sugars in your diet, and clean out some of the meals that you're having post-lunch.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a low-carb, low-inflammatory diet. We're removing sugars, grains, and dairy, which are common issues for people. Really, if you were to go to a dietitian, it's similar to what an elimination diet they'd put you on, so you understand how your body responds to things.
Right.
And so that's one of the great things is once you go through this, you limit all these food groups. At the end, you can try some things and see how you respond and see how you feel. And a lot of times you'll find that, oh my gosh, I didn't even realize I was sensitive to dairy, and that was causing inflammation and lethargy, and it killed my energy. And now that I know that, taking it to the next level.
Individually, I know that I never expected. So going through the Apollo Challenge, and we'll kind of we'll touch on the story of how you connected with me about it, but I never thought that would be an issue for me, or removing dairy from my diet would have made any impact in how much weight I lost or how much lean muscle I built.
Sure.
As far as my digestion, I'm sure there was a million other factors, but it was night and day. And cheese and dairy in general, for me, it was a huge piece to take out of my diet. So not that I was lactose intolerant, and somebody that may not understand what inflammation of what food does to you, inflames your body, but
sure, but you had a sensitivity that
absolutely.
You're aware of now, and so you can decide when you want to add those things to your diet because you realize the consequences.
Right.
Most people don't understand the consequences unless you kind of put yourself through that.
You have to really take a step back and just get data from yourself. How's it agreeing with your stomach, with your GI tract? How is it agreeing with your skin? And I think that's one of the advantages as you start off the challenge, where we're promoting individuals to check their scale weight on a daily basis, because what we've often found is that the inflammation causes you to hold water, and so we're finding out that we're getting an initial weight loss in those first few days just because of that reason.
Well, we've touched on the diet portion of it. So, Kyle, do you want to walk us through the weightlifting aspect of it?
Yeah. So what we've created, essentially 3 workouts, very similar, stripped down to the basics. You're going to push, you're going to pull, and you're going to do it with your upper and your lower body. I selected the exercises based on what I felt comfortable with telling someone to go do. So that involved some safety. I wanted to put them in a position where they were going to be safely executing it. There's plenty of great exercises out there, but I wanted to distill it down to the ones I felt were going to promote the best movement. 2, I wanted it to be done, in any bare bones gym. So we did dumbbells and a cable column. I'll get you through. And I think if you didn't have a cable column, you could still get through a great portion of the workout and be really, really successful. We're going to vary up the days, So day 1, day 2, and day 3 are all going to be very different, even though the exercise menu is very similar. So the exercises that you're performing will be similar day to day, but the method that you're applying will be vastly different. I think you're going to have a very different feeling on day 3 than you are day 1. Day 1, you're going to go at it really hard, high reps, 12 reps, and depending on what you do and don't like, there will be certain exercises that you're going to end up hating on that day.
Yep.
Day 2,
I have a few of those.
Day 2, we're going to slow it down, and so we're going to slow it down for a couple reasons. One, to really refine our technique, get better there, and then to focus on that eccentric part of the exercise where you're really dictating the way the weight's moving and how your muscle fibers are activating. And on day 3, I want to see you push heavy weight. The goal there is to stimulate your central nervous system and to feel excited about it. And then onward from that is that the next week I want to look much like the first week, but just maybe a little heavier, and I want you to improve each and every week, improve on your work output, right? So by the time you got to week 4, I'm sure that you felt, if you were to look back in the rear view, week 1 wouldn't have even compared to the output, the time you were getting things done. And that kind of parlays into the workout flow. Want you to get in the gym, have specific intention, going from one exercise to the next, and then feel good like you completed something walking out. And that was a big objective, so we could get people satisfied when they walked out of the gym. And I think that's key as they go on to whatever the next step of their day is.
I'd say that day 3, day 3 is really satisfying after really pushing it on day 1 and 2 each week.
Yeah.
Because day 1's a lot of volume, but it's a great way to start your week.
Absolutely.
You start your week with a win. It's a big day. It's a lot of reps, and it's the longest workout of the week. But once you've gotten through day 1, if you do it on Monday, then it gets easier in the sense that you're not doing quite as much volume. It feels easier, even though the effect is still builds. By the day 3, you're pushing some heavy weight and you're feeling really good about it.
And you can't deny that sense of achievement in day 3 too when you're seeing those results go up, and they do. They just inevitably do.
And
that's
you
exciting.
You track your workouts in the book, and you can look back, week by week to see your progress, and putting 2.5, 5 pounds on a week. It's rewarding.
I think that's what's gratifying for me when I'm taking people through the program, whether it be on-site or off-site, right? Off-site being, they're doing it wherever they're located, and they're just texting back and forth with me on the results is on those day 3s when they get that big surprise on what they were actually able to push, especially when they're comparing it to that introductory week, So for those listening, I just encourage you, as you start the program, it's one day at a time. One workout at a time, and you're just building, and just encourage you to build it one brick and as best you can. And then by the time you build that one, the next time you're going to be better. And so you're just laying that foundation.
Yeah. And as somebody who did the challenge, obviously myself, but starting, I wasn't as much concerned about, or I had to force myself to not care the how much weight I was putting up, especially on those 12 rep days. Which is day 1 for those listening, or workout number 1 of the week. And then just to really feel through the workouts, like obviously pace is important, and you have the tempos broken down for your as you're pushing through reps. And if you could touch on that, that'd be great.
Sure.
But to me, I wanted to make sure that I understood, like, this is how I'm going to feel after 12 reps of lunges, which I've told you guys this were the bane of my existence. But when I was done with
upstairs
them,
the next couple days.
Company.
Yeah.
You had good company.
So when I was done with those, I felt great. And you talked about that sense of accomplishment, and you're writing everything down in the booklet, and it's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't want to put myself in a position to not understand this is how this workout feels. It's going to be tough. But the next week is always better. It was always better for me, at least. So,
yeah. So regarding tempo, 4 numbers. The first being the way you're going to lower the weight, and the second being if you're going to pause at that position, and the third being how you're going to actually drive the weight the opposite direction. The fourth being if you're going to pause at that point. We're not going to pause at either 2 or 4, but I want the listeners to learn those numbers, because there will be cases in the future where we're going to go ahead and include that number. So I'll give you an example. If I was on day 2 to do an incline dumbbell bench press and I was going to say 4010, you're going to lower the weight, 4-second tempo, and then you're going to pause for no time at the bottom, and then you're going to lift at a 1-second tempo, as opposed to on day 3 for a dumbbell bench press on a flat bench, you're going to go 1 second on the way down, and then the third number is going to be X, which is going to represent explosive. I want you to explode upward with that weight. So, and that's just, it accomplishes a couple things. One is some very specific intentions of what we're trying to train, but 2, so people are being mindful during the exercise and then dictating the speed, because that's that repeatable power output that we're looking to achieve. And so if you can have that in your head and be mindful during the movement, it's more likely you're going to get a lot greater result, and that's just been the case. So, and
we explain that in the book, and we also have a dedicated web page that goes over tempo.
Sure.
So, if you have questions about tempo, it's important to pay attention to it. It's something that's a game changer, and
right.
I think that's one of the reasons why, for me as well, when you're talking about, you're surprised how much weight you're moving, you kind of have to step down from what maybe, you were just throwing weights around before to try and pick up the biggest ones you could. I know that's what I did. Being more mindful about lifting the weight produces a much stronger end result.
Yeah, there's a time and place for every application, and it's just that, when you go into movement and you pick something up, if you've preceded the the weight with an actual tempo, then you're going to go ahead and have something to measure it against, on a week-to-week basis. So.
Or it makes you understand that you maybe weren't lifting 100% the right way.
May have been cheating a little bit.
Right.
Yeah.
Or
using momentum to your advantage at times. Yeah.
And we were talking about it before the show. You're going to push yourself to get through any type of movement, right?
Right.
Or if you're really stressing yourself to get out that last rep, you're going to move every ounce of your body, probably in not the healthiest way.
Sure.
So, but that was definitely something that I had to focus on. But I know the results were it was helping me every week by pushing my building lean muscle, et cetera. So,
yeah. We have actually had a lot of former athletes go through the program, and so great athletes are great commentators or compromisers, and so essentially when you have so much compromise, there are unintended consequences, and it usually comes in the form of injury. So peeling that back, getting people to step back and just work on the intention of the movement, and that muscle activation, which is so critical, so key, has been really, really helpful. And there's no better mode for conviction than results. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So we've talked about the weight aspect of things, and we've talked about the diet aspect of the Apollo Challenge. Who is this for? Who are you? As far as me or anybody else who's going to go pick up this booklet, who is this for?
Yeah, so when we first created it, I was fielding a lot of questions. Everyone's asking for a program. Can you write a program for me? And
Sure.
So this is ground zero, if you will. And we designed this for men ages 18 through their late 40s. But I'll be honest, I've had plenty of guys in their 60s go through the program with a lot of success, which is really exciting to me. So I'll let Will add on some of that flavor, but we're excited to help people find out what their center line is, get them through a habit where they're getting 3 workouts a week, and then really just interested in optimizing their life. Not where the fitness and nutrition takes over their life, but where it inserts really well and assimilates to their daily productivity, like Will said, with peak production.
Yeah, I'd say, it's really for modern man in the sense that most of my peers are knowledge workers. We sit at a desk all day, hunched over a keyboard, staring down at our phones as we walk the distance of the.
Did you come to my office?
No, I think we just have little copies of them everywhere.
Yes.
But and maybe the extent of the movement that we have is from our car to our office chair, or from if we're lucky, it's from the bus stop or the train station, which is maybe a little further, and so we have to walk, and maybe we get to walk at lunch. But being really intentional about movement is important on this. But really, it's for modern man. It's really kind of an operating system for modern man, in the sense that if you get all of these things right, these basic building blocks, as Kyle said, then everything else becomes easier. You no longer have to think about managing your weight. That was a thing for me, for sure. Constantly worrying about, okay, am I going to yo-yo back and forth? Don't have to worry about managing your weight. Don't have to worry about managing your energy levels, because they'll always be consistently high. Mental clarity will be very, very high. Mental clarity, focus, attention span, just continuously blown away by how much different I feel on this program than I did before, kind of on the standard American diet with some unstructured movement. And I think I know that my friends, my family, my peers, they all kind of echoed that sentiment, and the users that we've had, the dozens and dozens at this point of users that we've had through the program, have echoed a similar thing, is that once you kind of adopt these habits, you now know how to come back to your baseline. You can have a a party or the holidays or something, but you have the tools now. Once you've gone through this program, you have the tools to get back to where you want to be physically, mentally. And that plays into emotions too. You know, more stable emotionally. If your energy is stable and you feel good about yourself, everything kind of elevates, and you're allowed to focus on the more important things. So I don't know if I fully answered that, to be honest. I think I kind of went on some tangents, but I'd say it's, the dirty secret is that it's for everybody. I mean, it really is. I mean, we designed it for men because we think that the weight training and aspect is going to be more interesting to a certain subset of ex-athletes, of people who, did sports in high school and did sports in college, maybe. But the secret, and we've had plenty of women go through this program. We've had, as Kyle mentioned, some older people go through this program with incredible results. So the answer is that it's for everybody.
Cars with higher mileage go through the program. So it's been exciting. The results have been exciting. The trickle-down effect is real. We've seen it. The excitement to stay in the program is gratifying because it's the framework that people get excited about. They get excited about, okay, they know what's going to happen their 3 days they're going in the train. They know what the framework of their day looks like with their meals. They'll plug and plant as they see fit. But that's the exciting part, is that they've had that structure. And so just like, when you were playing football, you had your 4 practices a week and you had your game, and that structure didn't change, and there's a lot to be said for having that routine. And so we're just introducing what we found to be a really, really effective one.
I love the routine aspect of it. And we'd always talked about it. And we always kind of defer to Monday being the day you get your 12 rep workout out of the way. I'm sure not you don't have to do that, but if I didn't do that, my week wasn't started right.
Yeah.
The good news is I could do it on Tuesday.
Sure.
If I needed to, but
if you miss a Monday, pick it up Tuesday,
Yeah. Probably it's a good feeling when the toughest part of the week's in the rearview mirror. It really is.
Right.
And you show up to work and you feel different than everybody else, and that means you perform better.
Yep. And we will probably touch on it next week or the week after, but I know preparation is a huge piece of this, and preparing yourself for the diet and for the workouts. Just high level, what do you think are some of the best ways to do that? Start with you, Kyle.
I think it just parlays into everything else. You're going to get better preparing from week to week the more you get to do it, whether it's just how you have things structured in your kitchen, you know what I mean, or how things are organized in your gym, how you see it, and then how you flow, and just coming back to it on a daily basis with some confidence, and just making each day a learning experience. And then by the time you get down through through week 4, it's rather seamless, and then you create the habit, which is even more exciting.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is making the decisions before you even start the program. So, if you're a calendar guy, if you live and die by your calendar, put your workouts, put your meals, put everything in your calendar, before you even start day 1, and everything's already decided for you. When you're going to get through the program. And if you miss something, fine, pick it up, as soon as you can. That's the whole thing is, tomorrow is the next chance to get it right.
Essentially a reset, and we put that in the book. And I've had many people comment as they're going through the program, that they gain a little bit of solitude that it wasn't over, just because you had a minor setback. Some things you can't project, and some things just happen. That's kind of the psychology behind it. You're merging, anytime you're talking about a human, you're merging some psychology behind some science. And so we felt like we did a good job of that, and more importantly, our users gave us that kind of feedback as well.
I said it to myself a few times when I was on the challenge.
Yeah.
Whether it be I don't know, giving into some sweet,
sure,
or something like that. And I feel like that's a great lesson to apply to the rest of your life, anyways. You can move past that. There's always tomorrow type of thing.
Yeah, people waste a lot of time on looking back, at a mistake, and so let's just go ahead and get eyes forward and move that direction.
Absolutely. Anything else you guys want to add there?
I don't believe so. I think we'll probably, over the course of the podcast, really touch on some of the key strategies, and really look to provide as much information as possible. So, we'll peel things back a layer at a time and really dive deep.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that the next week we're definitely going to dig into the specifics of getting ready for the program, kind of what we call 0 week. That's going to be your shopping and your scheduling and making sure that your gym situation's appropriate and that you have the right clothes and all the nitty gritty. We'll definitely we'll talk in detail next week about that. But the biggest thing is just making the decision to do it, commit to it, and then using the tools to kind of outline and walk you through one day at a time. There's no massive failure. This whole thing is, there's nothing you can do that wipes out all of your previous efforts. So it's not a waste,
Right.
Maybe there's a stumbling point, but just keep going, The next thing is your opportunity to be right back on. So, and that's kind of the way that's been big for me in applying the program is, like I said, sure, there are holidays, there are, work parties, and there are opportunities where you're going to feel the temptation to break the diet, or you're going to miss a workout or whatever. It's like, okay, well, wake up the next morning and be back on it. So, and you're going to feel better immediately.
It's true. I can attest to that. Absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
So yeah, last thing I'd communicate for listeners and to you as well is that there's this prevailing myth in the industry that you can't put on muscle at the same time you're losing body fat. And I never believed that. And that was probably my wrestling background and just watching big populations do it on a regular basis. I just knew that wasn't true. And so we've broken the code with this book, and we've broken the code with the system. We'll take you step by step through that. So I encourage you to tune in, and we'll get into a lot of those details over the course of the next 2 or 3 episodes, and really provide a lot of value to the listener.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to reiterate kind of the question we get a lot is like, what does a week look like? So as we're talking on the program,
Sure.
we'll just go over the high level real quick. What kind of a weekly schedule looks like, because week to week they're identical. You'll progress, and so you'll notice different things on different weeks. And as we go through, we'll kind of help you focus on different things each week. But a 7-day schedule, the food, the nutrition every day is going to be the same. So wake up in the morning, have a smart coffee with your BCAAs, your branched chain amino acids. That's as soon as you wake up. Then continue your fast for a complete 16-hour window. So that would be from 8 p.m. the night before till noon the following day. At that point, have your salad. So that's your lunch. So smart coffee is your breakfast. And then that's another question. It's like, what's for breakfast? Well, smart coffee is your breakfast. That is your breakfast. And it's important to realize that there are 400 calories in that drink. So you are getting calories. It's 100% fat calories. So you're not breaking your your ketogenic fast. But they'll help you starve off that, keep away your hunger and last throughout the rest of the morning. You'll have your Apollo salad for lunch. You'll have your XPG shake. You'll have your dinner of, roasted vegetables, sauteed vegetables, beef, chicken, salmon, shrimp. You choose a high quality protein and an organic vegetable. Make them tasty the way you like them. Stop eating around 8 o'clock. And then that's the beginning of your fasting period. And the other thing that we haven't mentioned here is prioritizing your sleep. Making sure you get a full 8 hours of sleep every night is going to completely change your energy level the following day. And it also will help with your ability to last in your fasting period, because you're not going to be sleep deprived and have hunger creep in. There's a lot of metabolic pathways that are causing this.
It's that conscious habit of you taking control of the day as opposed to it taking control of you. And so covering those bases, like we opened up in the conversation with those foundations, when you're asking individuals what they are not getting, that's one of the biggest ones, right? So,
yeah.
So anyways, very excited. Yeah.
Monday through Sunday, and then three workouts. Maybe that's Monday, Wednesday, Friday for you. Maybe that's Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
And then get ready for the next week on Sunday.
Yeah. And just to kind of put my 2 cents on why the challenge appealed to me, and not to backtrack too much, but obviously Kyle and I had a conversation about it. I want to say it was in June,
Probably lakeside.
Yeah, by the
Paint
lake.
the picture. It was a
Yeah.
good time.
Good sunny time. Maybe there was some adult beverages included in this conversation. But for the thing that I'd always struggle with in dealing with or trying the new workout, the new way to lose weight, whether it was and nothing wrong with these, of course, but P90X I tried in the past, or which was an investment in and of itself. Or I don't know, I tried Billy Blanks back in the day, or Tybo, whatever.
Sure.
I was always just doing cardio to try to lose weight, and the diet wasn't there. And of course, it's a huge aspect of it, but it was really just it was kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy. It didn't go anywhere because ultimately all I was doing was the same workouts for 4 or 5 weeks long. What appealed to me was the fact that you had touched on it, and I feel like you guys truly have cracked the code with this, is the ability to burn fat while you're essentially the fat that you have, as opposed to spot trying to spot tone or whatever the case may be. Like, if you have fat on your body and you want to lose it, this is a good way to do it.
Yeah.
And to me, it worked. So that to me was the reason I got into it. But
Yeah, we found, a lot of people, we've had guys lose over 20 pounds while at the same time putting on 5 pounds of muscle,
Yep.
So just a testament to what can be done
sure.
with some of these systems.
And I'm sure there's a lot of reasons why they lost that much weight, or a lot in the beginning of the workout, and we'll touch on those. But the results stayed for me. So
Yeah. Last but not least, to touch on those who've experienced maybe failures in the past with other programs, that touched on whatever pain point it might have been, and,
right.
And just essentially rolled the self-loathing cycle back into gear, right, after the failed program or whatever. This is just distilled. It's as simple as it gets, and it's as effective as it gets. And obviously, the results matter. That's why it's reliant on your compliance, and that's why the directions and objectives in the book, need to be followed so we can achieve that result. Because at the end of the day, once we get you there, there's that excitement and there's that enthusiasm, and then it just snowballs into a much greater effect on the road.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I hope for the viewers, the listeners, this doesn't sound like too much of an infomercial, but I think the goal. Just to be honest, the goal of these first couple of shows is to really dig into the meat of the program, explain the structure, and then explain how to really execute on all of the concepts that are in the book and that are part of the program, and to do it in this kind of format. So, if maybe it wasn't 100% clear to some users going through the book, this can help to kind of clarify some of the structure.
Right.
So
I don't have anything else.
Well, kind of setting up for the next couple of weeks. Are you guys? I'm going to do the challenge. Are you guys going to do it too?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Perfect.
yeah.
So next week, 0 week.
Next week's 0 week. We'll get ready to start it the following week.
Okay. And then the goal is to go through all 4 weeks of the challenge.
Uninterrupted.
Uninterrupted.
Right.
Each week, 4 weeks.
Yeah. We'll decide. We'll have to talk about, are we going to go do? I think maybe we should do DEXs. Do some DEXs.
Yeah.
Get some scale weight. Really just see.
Well, you can't bring that up and not explain what that is. It's in the book.
Yeah, it's the most accurate way to calculate your body composition. So we'll talk about that more once we decide the specifics of this. But
you can't just throw out acronyms, DEXs, and MCTs.
I'm too close to it. I'm too close to it.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, well, that's all I got too.
Awesome. Well, I think that'll wrap up episode 1.
Another applause for Will to get this together. We about didn't make the show because of the technical difficulties.
Yeah, we got to apologize for the delay on the start. We had hardware fail. We had the stream not be accepted by YouTube. So anyway, we got it all sorted out. Hopefully we won't have the same issues next week. Now I know not to change things right before we start to go live. And Anyway, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel to stay up to date on our live shows and the new content we have. Check out our full library of videos. The book, Apollo Challenge, is available on Amazon, so just search Apollo Challenge on Amazon or on YouTube to find all of our content. And connect with us, join. We've got a Q&A section on our website where you can ask questions or send emails to help@apollochallenge.com, and we'll get back to you as quickly as we can. We're really trying to build out a full library of questions, and if it's a great question, we'll talk about it here on the show. So thanks for watching from all of us here at Apollo Challenge, and have a great week.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.